Coming up in the morning edition, a resolution passed to relocate services at the General Post Office. Young people recognized for their achievements, and Labor on the Blocks moves to the Department of Corrections.
It's a Thursday and it's almost the end of yet another week. Good morning to all of you. I'm LaDawn Davis and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. You are looking at a live shot of East Bay Street and Paradise Island courtesy of our ZNS Tower Cam here on Rusty Bethel Drive. Jimonita Swain is standing by with the latest on what's happening on our streets. Good morning, Jimonita.
Good morning, LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. We're coming to you live just outside the intersection at Marathon. Now, one of the things that we find, or the traffic officials say that they find, is that persons decide to move their license plates on this and swap them out as a means of hoping to beat the system. Well, joining me live to talk about their concerns with that issue is, of course, Sergeant Cressenia Johnson of the Police Traffic Division. Good morning, Sergeant Johnson.
A pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas.
How prevalent is this issue?
Well, it's a growing issue, and we've seen it done, especially we've increased the number of operations that we've had on the street. We want to enforce the law as it pertains to road traffic offenses, and we've seen that this is one of the major issues. When we stop the vehicles, we recognize, once we look at the disc, that the vehicle doesn't have the same information on the disc. The description is not description, and the make and the model does not coincide what the make and model of that vehicle is at that time, as well as the license plate. The license plate is a totally different license plate than what is on that vehicle.
So aside from you finding this information out during road stops, as you pointed out, this becomes an even greater issue in the cases of accidents.
Yes, it does. And I just want to let you know this. Under the Road Traffic Act, you're going to be served by summons to when it comes to these fraudulent use of these documents. What it is a very serious issue. And when we find that these persons use these type of documents and in the fraudulent manner, that when they get into these accidents and they cannot compensate the ones that fall, they cannot compensate other people for their vehicles being damaged because these vehicles are not covered under third-party risk insurance. These vehicles are not registered under the Road Traffic Department. So it creates an even greater issue. Under the Penal Code, this is a arrestable offense.
The persons need to be mindful that even though you think you're beating the system, ultimately, because all of this information is logged due to the automated road traffic system now, yes, you're not getting away.
No, you're not. You're not. Remember, we asked for all of your government documents. We asked for your NIB. We asked for your passport in order for you to get the new license plate and license disc. So we know that whoever these documents belong to, we're going to come after you as the owner of these documents. So yes, all of these stuff, it's important that you do not do this action. It's fraud. Do not do it.
No, thank you so much, Sergeant Johnson. Of course, LaDawn, it's always important to know that a word to the wise is sufficient. Back to you in studio.
Thanks a lot, Jimonita. And joining us live in studio with our weather outlook here on the Morning Edition is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good morning, Basil.
Good morning, LaDawn. In the tropics this morning, we have our eyes on an area of low pressure. It's about 950 miles east-northeast of the northern Leeward Islands. Has a medium chance of developing. That's about 60% in the short term. Over the long term, that is about 5 days. That bumps up to about 80%, so we'll keep our eyes on it. No problem for us, mainly a problem for the shipping lanes. And then we have that frontal boundary, which pushed through practically unnoticed, still producing some cloudiness over much of the northwest and central parts of the country. There's another frontal system developing in the Gulf of Mexico. We've been talking about that all week long, and that will eventually move rather quickly into the northwest Bahamas come late Saturday night going into Sunday morning. But outside of our studios, partly cloudy skies, temperatures 77 degrees, relative humidity 78%, easterly winds 4 miles per hour, barometric pressure 1,013.6 millibars, that is 29.93 inches, and it is rising. Temperatures around the islands this morning, 75 degrees in Granville, Key, Marshall, Abaco. Also Freeport reporting 75 degrees. In the Berry Islands, 80, 73 degrees in Bimini. In Harbor Island, 80, 79 in Roxanne, Eleuthera, Otterstown, Cat Island, 79. Stanley Key, 78, 70 also in Kemp Space on Andros and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. San Salvador and Rum Key, 79 degrees. We're picking up 80 degrees in Crooked Island, Clarence Town, Long Island, Ragged Island as well. Acklands and Betsy Bay, 79. Matthew Town in Agua 78 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 80 degrees. Your boating forecast for today for all areas: east to southeast winds 10 to 15 knots. Those wave heights going to be around 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. High tide 7:48 this morning, low tide at 2:11 this afternoon. And that's going to do it for your first look at weather, the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight still ahead.
Thanks, Basil. Parliament has given the green light to relocate postal services from East Hill Street. House members debated late into the night on a resolution to lease space in the Town Center Mall to house the operations of the General Post Office. The working conditions for employees there have been a bone of contention for decades. Altavis Munnings reports.
The total votes by decision: 22 yes, 8 no, and 8 absent. That's the composition of the decision to allow the government to become a tenant of the Town Center Mall for the next 5 years to temporarily house the General Post Office. After many years of enduring poor working conditions at the East Hill Street headquarters, government wanted to swiftly rectify this matter for postal employees, as well as address the delay in mail delivery services. While the approval came from the majority of the governing side, the 8 parliamentarians who voted against the resolution included the entire opposition parliamentary team and 4 FNM parliamentarians representing Golden Isles, Pine Ridge, Bain and Grantstown, and Centerville.
Successive governments of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas seemingly have never implemented a plan for upkeep and the construction of public offices. Many of these offices, from time to time over the years, have been declared substandard by the very people working in them.
We are renting buildings when we have several empty, huge government buildings that have been relinquished by government due to structural damages.
What happens, Mr. Speaker, in a scenario if the owners of the property within 5 years' time decide that they no longer wish to rent the building to the government and calls for a purchase of property?
As a matter of principle, we say no to this resolution.
Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Hubert Minnis closed debate on the resolution after 8 o'clock Wednesday evening. He made it clear that the debate is not about politics, but doing the right thing in a timely and decisive manner for the Bahamian people.
Mail delivery was hampered by a shift system and early closing hours affecting businesses, particularly those in the Family Islands. Yet, the PLP failed to act. I took the liberty to walk through the post office, Mr. Speaker, and to see the mold and to smell the stench of the mold which the staff are exposed to. We are not ignoring that safety today.
The House of Assembly has been adjourned until Wednesday, November 7th. Altavis Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Following House proceedings, we asked Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Hubert Minnis how he feels about 4 of his parliamentary team members voting to the post office resolution.
I think that that's a matter the party would deal with. We go in caucus next week, and obviously things like that would come up, and the way forward, not necessarily with them, but the way forward with the party.
So that means there may be some changes?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Meanwhile, 156 of the country's youth were highlighted for their positive achievements during the 2018 National Youth Awards ceremony last evening. Awards were given to outstanding youth in 15 categories before the top awards were presented at the end of the night. Taking home top honors were Raymond Mitchell, who won the Director's Cup, Kai Martinez Jones, whose mother accepted the Minister's Cup on his behalf, and Teen Life Skills Services that won the Minister's Cup for the Youth Organization of Excellence Award. The Prime Minister's Cup Award went to Michelle Butler. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Anisha Roll, congratulated the nominees on their accomplishments.
When you put aside your pride and ask persons to nominate you, that was a step. When you ask persons to vote for you as nominee, you courageously took another step. When you attended the reception for nominees at the Government House, not knowing whether you would be this year's winner, that took tenacity. And today, with endurance, you've taken yet another step. Ms. Ayn Rand says, and I quote, "The ladder of success is best climbed by stepping on the rungs of opportunity." And I'm thankful to the Division of Youth and the Selection Committee for their hard work in giving so many youth this opportunity to climb up their ladder of success.
Veteran educator Elma Garraway was also presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award for her 49 years of service and her work with the country's youth. The Minister of Youth encouraged young people to continue to strive for excellence.
I challenge you to roll up your sleeves and embrace your opportunities and take your positions at the forefront of change. On behalf of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, in particular the Division of Youth, I am pleased to welcome all of you here tonight at the National Youth Awards and to congratulate each and every nominee and winners of this year's National Youth Awards. Certainly, I am delighted to take this time on behalf of the government of the Bahamas to give you this push in the right direction.
Job opportunities could be unfolding for prison inmates. Many of them have been engaged in skills training to prepare for their return to society. Today, the Ministry of Labor, in conjunction with the Ministry of National Security, will be mounting a Labor on the Blocks initiative at the Department of Corrections. The event begins at 10 o'clock this morning on the prison grounds. Police have identified the male killed on Parker and Polyphemus Streets this week. He is 22-year-old Kelson Devon Kelly of Parker Street. Kelly and another male were shot multiple times. The other male remains in serious but stable condition. Police meantime are reporting a fairly quiet night in New Providence and the Southern Islands. In other news, a special ceremony taking place at police headquarters this morning to mark the historic changing of the guard. The guard is posted at the entrance gate of the police headquarters and is responsible for the security of the Office of the Commissioner of Police and police headquarters. The new guard will march from the post office on East Hill Street into police headquarters and take over the responsibilities of the old guard during a formal ceremony with music provided by the Royal Bahamas Police Force Pop Band. And still to come, young cancer patients share their stories when the Morning Edition returns. Welcome back to the Morning Edition. The Kiwanis Club of New Providence giving back in a meaningful way this weekend with its theme, Love It, Share It, Live It. Members will be out in full force on Saturday raising funds for breast cancer awareness. Lieutenant Governor of the Kiwanis Clubs of New Providence, Barry Wilmot, says members are excited to give back to the victims of this killer disease.
All of the Kiwanis Club will come together under a Kiwanis one-day project. And we're going to be at the mall, on the streets, in the shopping centers, and you will see members going out there trying to generate funds, and all of the funds collected on Saturday between the hours of 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. will be made in a presentation to the Cancer Society of the Bahamas. We believe that it is our civic involvement and our moral obligation to help those in need.
Also this morning, we meet some young cancer patients who are battling the ailment and are determined to make an impact despite the odds. Catherine Gomez reports.
Three-time cancer survivor Tony Lewis, who lost her father, sister, and daughter to the deadly disease, says through her grief and suffering, she has birthed the Tiffany Treasure Hope Foundation.
It was during a time when I was going through my weakest point with cancer, and I felt as if a part of healing would have been to give back. We have been basically focusing on children with cancer. I had a daughter that passed from cancer, so it is really near and dear to me. The Tiffany in the name is my sister Tiffany. The treasure is my daughter. And we basically want to give hope to children with cancer.
13-year-old Michaela Gibson has osteosarcoma and has lost her leg. She tells us her battles with cancer.
I didn't like the experience, but my doctors was treating me good and stuff, but I have to get sick a lot to take blood to make sure my blood counts are okay, but I didn't want to be in the hospital and I don't want to have cancer no more.
Michaela also says she can't wait to get a prosthetic leg and even shares her future plans.
So I could run around with my friends again, and I could play outside. I want to grow up. I have 2 children, a boy and a girl, and I want to be a doctor. I can help other cancer patients.
14-year-old Ricky's son Xavier has leukemia and says his life with cancer has been extremely difficult without a father.
I found I was diagnosed with cancer from last year. Before I was diagnosed, I used to feel a little kind of weak, and I used to feel some pain in my leg. Doctor told me I had cancer. Then I kind of feel a little bad, and I cried, and I was like, I didn't want to live no more. I didn't want to live no more. And then I called my Sunday school teacher, and I told her I was in the hospital. I told her what happened. They told me I was diagnosed with cancer and this and that. And she read me some scriptures, and she told me to have faith in the Lord, to put my faith in the Lord. So that's what I started to do. Then I began to pray that the cancer won't go away. Just trying to get better, and put my trust in the Lord that He'll make a way for me.
Michaela and Ricky says the Tiffany Treasure Hope Foundation has been their guardian angel in their darkest hours, stripping away their fear and clothing them in faith. Catherine Gomez, ZNS Network News.
Great story there, Catherine. The oldest Black Greek-lettered fraternity is leading the charge to give back in a special way locally. The Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity will be hosting a blood drive this weekend. Jimonita Swain is at the mall at Marathon with organizers. Good morning, Jimonita.
Good morning again, LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. Blood, it's often referred to as a life-saving gift. In fact, 1 pint of blood can save 3 lives. Well, joining me now to talk about a very important event or initiative that's coming up in a few days is, of course, Nori Banabi of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Good morning, Nori. Tell us about the proposed blood drive that you have coming up.
Yes, good morning. This week, Saturday, we're having a blood drive at the Quality Home Center. And what we're doing is just transforming the foyer area of the shop and with our blood drive, and we're just turning it into a life help center. And we want everyone to come out on Saturday. We're looking forward to a very good turnout. We know it's Halloween time, and we know everyone is shopping. So what we've done this year is incentivize the blood drive, where every blood donor would qualify for about 15% off on their next purchase at Quality Home Center. So we're really looking for a good turnout, and the hours are from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we're looking for a really good support and turnout this year at the drive.
So this is something that you offer. I think you had another drive last year. Why did you decide to take on this initiative?
Right, so this is an annual event, and we have a blood drive every year. And the Alpha organization is a community service-based organization. And so every year we put on a number of events that's generated towards having an impact on the community, and this being one of the events. And we just feel the need to help our brothers and sisters in our country, and by putting on a blood drive, and this is something that we look forward to every year.
Thank you so much, Nori. But of course, there's often the call that goes out, we need blood. That often comes from the Princess Margaret Hospital. So joining me to talk about how important that issue is of course, again, Crystal Bain of the Blood Bank. Good morning, Crystal. Tell us how important it is when people take the step ahead to give blood.
Well, it's very helpful to us because over 12,000 requests a year for blood, but yet we get less than 4,000 donations annually. And so we not only need blood in times of trauma or gunshot, but we also have surgeries that are occurring every day. We have patients who are chronically ill, such as kidney patients or cancer patients. So the call for blood is urgent every day.
Well, thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you so much, Nori. Again, that blood drive is set for this coming Saturday at Quality Home Center. If you have time in your busy shopping preparations for Halloween, make sure you find a time to give blood. Back to you in studio, LaDawn.
Thank you so much, Jim. Anita. Charles, are you going to go out and give some blood? I know I can't.
Saturday I'm going to give a lot of blood, but I'm going to need my energy for this morning. I have a big workout coming up in a few minutes. Also, the Beast Race, the elections is coming up next month. And Miko launched his campaign last night, but it's all about getting these coat off and getting ready to get down with some ladies, the dynamic duo this morning in studio.
That story and more ahead in sports.
Good morning once again. Before we get into that workout, the race for the presidency of the Beast Race is heating up. Trimiko Archer and team launching their campaign last evening at the Thomas Robinson Stadium will run against incumbent Rosamond Carey for the top post of the Beast Race later next month, November 24th to be exact. The present General Secretary of the association is already speaking like the president.
I also want to thank Rosamond Carey for being the examples of what the B3As was, is, and shall be in the future. But I want to make it very, very clear. I am not Mike Sands, and I am not Rosamond Carey. We will run a program that is a different program altogether.
You also made this assurance to coaches on national teams.
I am not in the business of making promises. I am in the business of developing coaches and developing athletes. If you qualify, you go. If you don't qualify, you stay behind home. But what I will do is I will ensure that you are properly trained to qualify to travel. So I can tell you that January 31st, if I am the president of this federation, when I become the president of this federation, thank you, Kennard. Every head coach and team manager will be named.
Well, it was a big night for two Bahamians in NBA action last night. Buddy Hield, a season high 23 to go along with 7 rebounds in the Sacramento Kings 97-92 win over the Memphis Grizzlies. He was 10 for 20 from the field on a respectable 3 for 6 from behind the three-point line in the season high 41 minutes of play. The Kings back on court Friday against Washington. Meantime, while many Bahamians were pulling for their Los Angeles Lakers, many were also pulling for DeAndre Ayton. Ayton, 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 block shots, made 11 of his 14 shots, dish out 3 assists in 31 minutes of play. But the Phoenix Suns gave the Lakers their first win of the season, 131-113. Ayton and the Suns off until Saturday when they take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, I've been challenged a lot in my life. Last week, Sieska on national TV made this challenge to LaDawn and I.
I want all of you to know I haven't quite lost it. I just got to practice just a little bit, but I got it. Now the question is, LaDawn, Fisher, do y'all have it? That's the bigger question.
Well, call me in. Let's do another.
Well, I don't know if LaDawn have it, so I've brought in some reinforcements, secret weapon, teachers, dynamic duo to give me some lessons this morning. We have a dance-off later on this year. Tiana Roll, Vanessa Perigon. I'm saying they are the dynamic duo, and they brought the Zumba with me this morning. Y'all ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
First of all, where is your studio located?
Okay, so we host classes at Empire Fitness, as well as Life Cycle and Pilates Studio.
And how often do you do it?
We do it every Friday and Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. We actually have a class this Saturday at 8:30 a.m. at Life Cycle. Yes, you should come.
I'll be in that class and then I'll go and give blood to the drive.
Yes.
But what are you gonna? I need that lesson. So what are you gonna teach me this morning?
We're gonna do a routine, a soca mix. So just follow along.
Okay, let's see if we can get that music on and let me get ready to go. You gotta tell me what to do.
Go left. Hey! Woo!
You gotta make noise now.
Woo! Woo! So forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, add the arms. Hey, 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 hey. Go to the left. Woo! Woo! Right here. We jamming still. Hey. Oh yeah! Woo! Okay. Woo! Wine, let me see wine.
sister to do?
You just dance, have fun, do it like you out
So
on the town.
how much pounds do I lose on this, and do I really learn the routine?
You will learn the routine.
How did I do?
You did great.
So we
okay.
can do one more?
I guess.
Let's go.
What we doing?
So give me some more music. Let me teach you all. This is my dance.
You gotta tell us what to do.
You tell us to go back.
Ready? That's gonna do it for sports. The Zumba girls, I'm getting ready for the big dance off later on this year.
In our final look at weather, we have this area of low pressure, some 950 miles to the east-northeast of the Windward Islands. It's moving toward the north and west at a very slow pace, but it remains over the open waters and taking aim for the continental United States. The waters are very warm, so this has a medium chance of developing. That's about 60%, and over the long-term 5 days or so, that will bump up to about 80%. So we'll keep our eyes on that system and keep you posted. On the home front, we have that front boundary now stretching across the central and southeastern islands, still providing some cloud cover and a few showers. But the one we're looking at is this front that's developing in the western Gulf of Mexico. That will eventually move very quickly towards the east, and that should get into our area sometime late Saturday night going into Sunday morning, and that will bring a nice little cool down heading into the early part of next week. Partly sunny conditions today with a late morning or early afternoon shower possible. The high temperature getting up to 87 degrees. And tonight, patchy clouds still on the mild side with a slight shower during the late night and early morning hours, 73 degrees for your low temperature. And extended weather forecast keeping you mid-80s right into Sunday. Frontal system goes through on Saturday, early Sunday, and then by Monday you'll see those daytime temperatures getting in the low 80s, nighttime temperatures in the low 70s. So, Dawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil, and that does it for the morning edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us once again. I'm LaDawn Davis. See you right back here on Friday morning.